Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rea, but I live in Nandi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Kornabuan, Papua. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Makanisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I've been listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Government explains reasons behind delay in e-ticketing system. And Prime Minister outlines COP23 vision.
From the studios of FBC Suba, Amrita Sagar.
The Super Rugby match between the Chiefs and Crusaders last night once again gave Fiji a chance to market itself on the international scene, with hundreds of visitors flocking to our shores to be part of the fixture and millions watching the match on television. Fiji left a huge footprint in promoting its tourism industry once again. Right there reports.
What you get in respect of getting to people's homes is quite enormous, and you cannot have a simple marketing dollar spend. You cannot actually value it because in fact it's quite immeasurable in the sense the exposure that you do get. It's not just in terms of exposure of the country, but it's also the exposure of the fact that Fiji is a destination. Promotes the quality of sporting facilities we have. So Fiji can also become a venue for other teams to come and play in Fiji. Of course, it also helps promote the facilities we have in respect of, for example, the stadium.
Awesome. Yeah, it was very similar to last year, apart from there was no rain this year, which was great. But yeah, the crowd was great. There was probably a few more Crusaders supporters in the crowd than we as Chiefs were hoping, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But in terms of Fiji really getting behind Super Rugby, we couldn't have asked for any more. And
the brothers starting back with Paula Bale, who I fortunately played with back in the first Crusade in 1996, and then obviously Marika Vunambaka.
The government has today provided clarification on the delay caused in implementing the e-ticketing system for the bus industry. The much talked about and debated e-ticketing system was scheduled to roll out last year, but did not happen. Sharon Shivan reports.
Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Khayoun says 2 of the service providers engaged for the e-ticketing system pulled out from the initiative, causing the delay. He says initially Vodafone Fiji, Digicel and Bula My Fiji had agreed to be part of the project. However, Digicel realized it was costly and stepped down, and Bula My Fiji followed suit.
They need to be able to talk to each other, because we did not want a situation, and I have to reiterate this, we did not want a situation where you had the back-end processing and even the front-end of the 3 different companies not being able to be multi-operational.
This does not mean that the initiative has been shelved.
So now we have finally Vodafone on board. Vodafone is on board. We have given a time frame until August of this year to get it all done.
Fiji Bus Operators Association says e-ticketing is the game changer in Fiji, given the provision of opportunities for bus providers and enhanced user experiences for its customers.
E-ticketing will ensure that the bus industry is efficient and geared to provide quality, innovative services to the commuting public of Fiji.
Sayed Khayoun says proper protocols are needed before the e-ticketing system is rolled out. Under the system, people boarding a bus will need to pay their fare using a prepaid card. Sharin Shivan, FBC News.
Meanwhile, prior to the Fiji Bus Operators Association annual convention this morning, some members requested the Attorney General to hold the association elections today. Sayed Khayoun told them to solve their issues.
I had people who've texted me since yesterday, some of the bus operators who've said to me, can you please ensure that the Fijian Elections Office conducts your elections today? Because we don't trust the system that's in place. People have written to me also individually saying that your constitution is not reflective of the voting rights of what everybody should have, that it's not equal. I know those issues. You need to solve those issues yourselves.
Prime Minister Bainimarama says Fiji's vision for COP23 is inclusive and focused on maintaining the momentum for the implementation of what was agreed in Paris at the end of 2015. Outlining the aims and objectives of COP23 in Germany yesterday, Bainimarama said his role as president-designate is to be impartial and to act in the collective interest of all nations. Ritika Pratap reports.
As the incoming president of COP23, Vorenge Bainimarama bluntly outlined the dangers of climate change facing the globe.
We come from the Pacific or other small island developing states, other low-lying nations and states or threatened cities in the developed world like Miami, New York, Venice or Rotterdam. But together we must speak out for the whole world.
Laying down the foundation of a robust COP23, Bainimarama said it is important to uphold and advance the Paris Agreement. He aims to forge a grand coalition to accelerate climate change action before 2020.
It is not about finger-pointing and laying blame, but it is about listening to each other, learning from each other, sharing stories, skills and experiences. By focusing on the benefits of action, this process will move the global climate agenda forward.
Over 200 nations gathered in Germany this week to lay the foundation for the 23rd Conference of Parties to be held in November.
Parties have been working diligently over the last 2 weeks to advance work on a number of issues under the Convention, the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Achieving full implementation of the Paris Agreement is one of the main tasks before us, and COP23 will play a crucial role in advancing this effort.
Bainimarama also unveiled Fiji's dedicated website for COP23, www.cop23.com.fj, which has a range of information on our plans for the coming year. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
2 people have died following an accident at the Sambeto Valley Road yesterday afternoon. It is alleged the driver lost control of the vehicle while trying to dodge a pothole. 2 of the 6 passengers, a man and a woman, died while 4 others, including an 11-year-old boy, sustained injuries. One of the victims is admitted in the critical condition, while the driver and 3 other passengers are admitted at the trauma ward in the Lautoka Hospital. The current death toll is 15 compared to 18 for the same period last year. Well, still to come, upward revision for Fijian economic growth. And Police Commissioner reiterates warning on vehicle abuse. Details after the break.
और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मिर्ची है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तापुआ में रहता है, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Land Transport Authority is warning motorists and drivers to refrain from installing non-conforming coloured or flashing lights on their vehicles. Chief Executive Carmen Piantedosi says high-intensity discharge lights cause more glare when compared with other normal vehicle headlamps such as halogen lamps. Piantedosi says this causes obstruction to oncoming traffic and will cause temporary blindness to the driver. He says this gets worse during heavy rain as wet roads reflects bright light directly onto oncoming vehicles. Since January this year, over 360 drivers have been penalized for installing non-conforming lights. The Fijian economy is expected to grow by 3.8% this year, an upward revision from the October 2016 forecast of 3.6%. RBF Governor Barry Whiteside says with the exception of fishing, forestry and mining, most sectors are expected to improve this year. The growth forecast for next year remains unchanged at 3%, while in 2019 the economy is envisaged to grow by 2.9%. The current account deficit is now projected to be around 5.4% of GDP. Despite higher annual inflation of 4% in April, prices are expected to normalize towards a 3% forecast for the end of the year. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sitiveni Gilaho says he is still concerned with the attitude of some officers who have the tendency to abuse vehicles. The force has written off vehicles worth over $50,000 due to unauthorized use, Savara Tambor reports.
Speaking to officers at the end of a 3-week training, the police commissioner said as authorized riders, motorists must expect more responsibilities.
You are authorized driver, you got nothing to worry about. But if there is bad habits, if somebody is speeding along on the road, 50 kilometer zone and doing 100 kilometers per hour, not in pursuit of anything, just because he's rushing somewhere. To me, that is unacceptable.
Officers were also reminded to remain focused and understand the hard work put into acquiring further mobility assets.
Like I said at the start of my talk, because there's an important government asset that has been damaged and taken out of service because those that are written off are not replaced under the lease arrangement. We have to change our thinking. If I kick out 20 police drivers today, I can tell you there's 200 more out there willing to come in.
The police commissioner recently terminated a few officers who abused the use of vehicles, resulting in getting written off. He also reminded officers to value and appreciate the employment opportunity they have. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Local universities should consider establishing a link between research and policy making. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy highlighted this while speaking at the Fiji National University's Public Sector Research Talanoa session. Dr. Reddy says effective research improves the lives of ordinary people.
There's a lot of research done by universities, but it fails to contribute to policy making, not because it is not worthy of policy making. As I said, all research has the potential of making policy contribution, but because there's no bridge between policy making and research.
The latest from the Vodafone Fiji Fact, this and more coming up.
I'm from Nepal and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Stanley Gudler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Watraki, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in LIMELIGHT Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from La Paz. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on
The Crusaders beat the Chiefs 31-24 in an entertaining Super Rugby match at Suva's ANZ Stadium last night. The Chiefs outscored the Crusaders 4-3, but it was the boots of fly half Richie Mo'unga that sealed the Crusaders' victory. Meanwhile, in another Super Rugby match played this morning, the Stormers beat the Blues 30-22. Naitasiri threshed Nandi 38-8 in the Skipper Cup rugby competition today. The Highlanders outscored the Jet Setters 4-1. Here are the tries.
There from Naitasiri, showing the heavy forwards that they have and working hard right on the far corner, and that is the first try from Naitasiri as they push Nandi back. Out it comes, a big run it is, going towards the shorthand on that far end. The referee awards a try to Naitasiri. Planka Penny Naruma and an overlap right on the far end. Can Nandi do it? It's an overlap. Yes, it is. He goes right on the far corner. Romani comes back. Breaks away from a lot of would-be tacklers, and an outside pass as Naitasiri goes to the other side of the field of play, and that can be a penalty try, but Naitasiri, its volley goes on the blind side. He runs away from one, he runs away from Takumbu, and out it goes. A beautiful try there from, is it Frank Lomani? And Frank Lomani will come in for as a replacement player to Lubenyali.
In other matches, Northland lost to Naranga 17-13 and Namosi thumped Suva 32-7. Now, the Vodafone Fiji 7 side to play at the London tournament has been named. Wardens forward Joshua Vakurunambili is set to make his debut after being named in the final 12. Glenn Dhakautini, Samumbale, Kalione Nasoko and Setereki Bituniata also made the cut. Paula Draunisinikula has been named as the 13th player, while Mesulame Konavola misses out. Fiji's first match is against Canada at 8:30 p.m, after which we play Japan at 11:36 p.m. Our last pool match is against New Zealand at 3:04 a.m. tomorrow. The Suva football side upset Lautoka by a 1-0 in its second match of the Vodafone Fiji Fact. The lone goal came from Ravinesh Karan Singh early in the match. The win has put Suva on 6 points after 2 matches, while Lautoka has a single point. Nandi beat Raketi 3-1 at the Vodafone Fiji Fact to strengthen its chances of qualifying to the semi-finals. Here are the match highlights. football side thumped Raki 5-0 in the Vodafone Fiji FAC today. Gabrieli Matanisinga and Iosefo Verevo scored 2 goals each, while Samuela Kotonga also scored a goal. Rewa now has 4 points from 2 matches and plays Suva in its last pool match tomorrow. The Queen Victoria School Under-15 rugby side has set its sights on winning this year's Coke Zero Deans competition. The side defeated Lenin Memorial School 12-0 in the Eastern Division playoffs today. Rohit Deo with the story.
Last year's Under-14 division winners look favourites to win the Under-15 title in the new season. It was a hard-fought win against Lalin Memorial School as both teams were locked 0-0 at half-time.
It was a very tough game, especially the first half. We just played our individual game. We didn't play as a team.
The team regrouped at half-time and scored 2 good tries in the second spell.
Yeah, it will be very tough, especially it's another year. Yeah, it's going to be a tough tournament this year.
The Eastern Division schools won all the finals last year and will be looking to repeat that.
They are all in our zone, and then we are looking forward to defend all our trophies in this season.
In other matches played today, QVS beat Lalin Memorial School 12-0 in the Under-14 grade, while in the Under-18 grade, QVS edged St. John's Dalwadi 18-17. The second round of matches will be played next weekend. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Cloudy conditions and isolated showers were experienced over most parts of the country today. A trough of low-pressure system lies slow-moving over Vanuatu and extends southeastward over to the west of the Fiji group. Looking at the west, it was a gloomy day with temperatures standing at 29 degrees in all centres. Now, similar conditions prevailed in Suva, rainy and cloudy conditions in most places. The temperature was cool at 29 degrees. In the Northern Division, Lambasa was humid at 31 degrees. Savu remained cool like other centres. At sea, a strong wind warning remains in force for Fiji waters. Easterly winds 20 to 25 knots and rough seas are expected. The next low tide is at 7:50 tonight, with a high tide at 2:15 tomorrow morning. The outlook for tomorrow: cloudy with some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Isolated heavy falls are expected. And as for Monday, occasional showers and few thunderstorms over Lomaiviti and the Lau group, Vanuatu, Taviuni and nearby smaller islands, the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, cloudy periods with afternoon or evening showers and isolated thunderstorms are expected once again. Recapping the main stories: Super Rugby match gives Fiji international limelight. Government explains reasons behind delay in e-ticketing system. And Prime Minister outlines COP23 vision. For these stories and others, you can tune in to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question: are we doing enough to help people with depression? You can visit our FBC website to answer. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. Or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News, or simply hashtag FBC News. Until next time, good night.
O te vitarokuta mai hono kula nrasa lotoka do ba talita kana warong na radio Fiji.
Bula na rango pina wa korviri nandi au talita kana warong na radio Fiji na programa ni masmasu na mataklailai.
Ya o chone kurinambila mai hunangoru na makete hinga toka kwe do talita kina na warong na radio Fiji gena na domoiviti.
Na radio Fiji na domoiviti na vonga ni vienan.